The Intel 14A process represents one of the most significant advancement in next-generation CPU architectures in recent years. At its core, this is a revolutionary node is built around the concept of turbo cells technology, a breakthrough approach to microprocessor design that could fundamentally change how chips perform under varying workloads. There's all sorts of new improvements with the Intel 14A processor, and we want to take a look at it. And we're also going to discuss whether we think Intel's going to get away from their previous woes or not. What do you think, John?
Yeah, so the one thing that I'm laughing because like this reminds me of their hyper threading technology that they released. I don't know if it's a gimmicky. Like if we dive into what they're calling turbo cells, is their customizable standard cell libraries, and they allow chip designers to blend high speed and energy efficient transistors within the same design block. So they focus on critical paths, which are the slowest signal routes that dictate a chip's maximum clock speed, whereas turbo cells use a wider merged nanosheet to boost the drive current. So it sounds like a technological advancement, but so did hyperthreading. And the question is, are we going to have issues like they had with their previous designs? Because this is the new design for them, right? Kind of. And they're set to arrive in 2027. They do have a new leadership, so they are under new leadership with a new CEO. Do you think this is what's going to turn them around or save them, or what are your thoughts, Craig?
This is really cool. There's a few technologies here I like.
Okay.
I like the concept here because this Intel 14A achieves a remarkable 1.3 times increase in transistor density compared to 18A processes, because they use Intel Ribbon FET2 technology, second generation of Intel's stacked nanosheet transistor architecture, which is cool. So they can fit 30% more stuff on there. The turbo cells you have a choice, right? They can deliver the same level of performance at much lower power, or at the same power, 20% or more performance increase. So we'll have to see. It's like turbo or whatnot. We'll have to see how that goes. I do like the transistor density. And the other thing I like in this is PowerDirect. So Intel's 14A introduces PowerDirect, a revolutionary backside power delivery network that fundamentally reimagined how electricity flows through a processor. Traditional chips deliver power through the same side where data connections exist, creating potential bottlenecks and inefficiencies. Moves the power delivery to the opposite side of the chip, creating dedicated pathways for electricity that don't interfere with data signals. This separation enables more efficient power distribution throughout the chip, reduces power-related performance limitations, and supports higher sustainable performance level. It also distributes the heat better. So this is a very interesting. It provides better heat distribution, preventing localized hotspots that can throttle performance. This innovation is particularly valuable on a high performance computing scenario. So this may change some things around how we power chips in the future. There's a few cool technologies here. I'm not sure if turbo cells will deliver on everything they say they're going to deliver on, but I'm really interested in this PowerDirect and the Ribbon FET2 technology that puts more transistors on there. So I'm really interested to see this. So one of the most significant manufacturing breakthroughs in the 14A process is the demonstration of equivalent yield between low NA numerical aperture and high NA extreme ultraviolet lithography methods. This achievement represents a major milestone in semiconductor manufacturing. So on the flip side, Intel's been having a lot of trouble, and they're kind of separating into two companies. One's going to be a foundry where they're making chips for all comers, and the other is going to be kind of the Intel chip maker, like they design and that kind of stuff. So this is great for the foundry side of it because they have multiple options for people who come, whether they want to use the high NA or the low NA, where the high NA EUV technology offers superior resolution for creating extremely fine circuit patterns, but has traditionally come with implementation challenges.
Yeah.
By achieving yield parity with these approaches, Intel gains unprecedented manufacturing flexibility without requiring design rule changes. This means Intel can select the most cost-effective or available lithography method based on the current manufacturing conditions without compromising quality or performance. So we'll have to see if that actually works in real time, but it's really interesting.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting because we're going to get a feel for it, essentially for the testing ground when they launch their Panther Lake, which is Intel's 18A node, which is kind of the testing ground for the technologies. And then 14A is going to be about refining what works and then pushing the limits. But to put it into context, TSMC's got a 2 nanometer node, which arrives in 2026. So the biggest challenge with Intel is, are they going to be able to scale the 14A globally and get the yield rates that they need? That's the biggest thing, because this is a newer manufacturing process, right?
Yeah.
So
Intel's committed an astounding $90 billion investment towards the foundry business in a direct challenge to TSMC's dominance in the advanced chip manufacturing. This massive financial commitment underscores Intel's determination to reclaim technological leadership while establishing itself as a major player in the contract manufacturing space. So this is going to be really interesting. Well, hopefully, Intel has been taking a beating in the marketplace. I'm hoping that this strategy will help them to come back and thrive.
Yeah.
And Intel has explicitly positioned itself as an AI services company with GPU concepts that align closely with enterprise-grade AI applications. This strategic positioning recognizes the growing importance of AI in the computing landscape and leverages Intel's strength in high-performance energy efficiency. That sounds like a lot of gobbledygook. So we'll have to see. It sounds like a lot of marketing, right? Great. We've got GPUs too. So we'll have to see what that means. And their TurboCell technology is supposed to allow GPUs to run faster and better. So we'll have to see when that happens, right?
Hey, Intel's been great at marketing. They've got everyone believing that their chips are better than AMD's for years, right?
Yeah, and at first they were, but then that was years ago,
but still, they're still marketing. Like, people still believe that, right? Well, I guess less now with the problems that Intel has had, but yeah, they're great at marketing. So let's see if it delivers on their marketing promises.
So near term, like you said, Intel's focused on ramping up production of its 18A processor. That includes this. I think it's the 18AP, which is the Panther Lake, which are scheduled to release second half of 2025. The 18A processor serves both as a technology stepping stone towards the more advanced 14A. And in 2027, we're targeted for risk production. And then we don't know how long after that. Risk production means we're testing it. We're trying to figure out the development process and getting it in other people's hands to make sure it's ready to go.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what this means for other CPUs, other CPU development, and them investing so much money on a new foundry and systems to build chips for others, what this means for general availability. Are we going to see much more chips on the environment from different companies that Intel just makes, like TMSC and some of the other chip manufacturers do for Apple and other companies?
Yeah, I don't know.
So, as Intel progresses towards risk production of a node in 2027 with intermediate step of 18AP variant in 2026, we can expect to see these innovations gradually transform the computing landscape. The resulting next generation CPUs and GPUs will likely deliver substantial improvements in performance, efficiencies, and capabilities, enabling new applications and experience across consumer, enterprise, and specialized computing domains. The Intel 14A chip doesn't just represent an incremental improvement in semiconductor technology, embodies a fundamental rethinking of how processes are designed and manufactured. I'm really curious if you think this is going to be a major leap forward, or just, we got new power and maybe more transistors, but this TurboCell thing, who knows? Or whether this is a game changer, or whether you don't trust Intel at all anymore and you'll never buy an Intel processor again. Let us know where you are in that process. We'd love to hear from you.
Well, so there'll be a start of investor drinks in June, I've got my head down for my shred clients and grants and things like that. But if you do want some help, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, John Irwin. But if they need help with coaching for their business, anything related to helping them with their business, how do they find you, Craig?
Well, Startup Investor Drinks is June 26th. So mark your calendars, go to Startup Investor Drinks TO and get your tickets. We will be having a automation event during Tech Week as well. I just haven't booked it yet, so look forward to that. And if people want coaching, if you're stuck, you can go to startupcoach.ca or click on the Startup Coach button, book a discovery call. I'll have a 15, 20-minute call, and we'll see if it makes sense to work together, if we can help each other, you like our style, that kind of stuff. Feel free to book that free call anytime. And for everything else, check it out at torontostarts.com. And if you're looking to automate your business, take it to the next level, stop doing the repetitive tasks, check out flowgrammer.ca for all your automation resources. And if people looking for non-dilutive funding, John, where do they go?
Come find me on LinkedIn, John Irwin. Yeah, any kind of non-dilutive funding. I guess in June right now, we'll have maybe FedDev open right now. So
awesome. And just as we said that, I got a new TidyCal booking right now for Startup Coach meeting. Thanks, somebody, for watching and booking that. We'll see you all next time on Silicon Scoop. Thanks for listening.